Hey y'all, hey, I am Phee and I am back with another video. I do want to say in advance that you may hear some little noises in the background. I am sitting by my window, so you may hear traffic going by, as well as I live in a townhouse and you would think these people live with me. I can hear them going up and down the steps. I can hear everything. So that is my disclaimer and apology in advance. But like I said, I am Phee with another video. And as a professional story listener, a life story writer, and a story healer, I not only hear/listen to the things that are said, I also pay close attention to the things that aren't said, and I can usually intuit deeply what those are, and I can reflect them back. So I share stories, mine and others, that will hopefully help us heal as a collective, especially when dealing with relationships to men, money, and our life's purpose. So when I saw this clip from the Audacity podcast, who happens to be two of my favorite YouTubers, The Sovereign Woman and YB Edit, I had to put my take on it.
The society is overflowing with what I like to call extra men that nobody asked for. And it sounds harsh. We're not trying to male bash or anything. It's just a reality. So I want you to think of the fact that there is a demographic of unnecessary men. Think clearance rack at Walmart. I mean, and I'm not trying to be funny. I promise.
The 97
maybe I am a little bit. Yeah, but just think there's always going to be a group of men that don't get married, that's never chosen, that nobody wants to have babies with, nobody wants to make eye contact with. Women clutch their purses when they walk past them. You know what I mean? Like you're just I'm sorry, I tried to laugh, but those men are amongst us and they are dangerous.
So they're talking about how idle hands are the devil's playground, which basically is referring to men who aren't doing anything productive with their lives. They're not being productive members of society. So when I was watching, there's this show on Apple TV called Smoke, which got its inspiration from a podcast called Firebug about a serial arsonist who was actually a firefighter. I think he was a firefighter, or he was an arson investigator. One or the other. But what I wanted to piggyback on is the statement that a man who has nothing going for himself is a dangerous man. And I couldn't agree more. So I was saying that it'd be those homosexual men who don't have a pot to piss in and that be having the nerve to be abusive. The ones who refuse to get a job, or the ones who can't hold down a job, but he knows that a lot of women are desperate to have a man, so he can treat her any kind of way and know that she'll stay. So I think that who they're really mad at is themselves, because they know that they are useless. So any man without a purpose is no man that you want to be around. Like, trust me. So in this case, on the show Smoke, Freddie, who also played Ronnie on the show The Chi, he's a fry cook at this fast food joint who is so miserable, he goes and starts fires around town. And not only does he start these fires around town, he follows the people, right? And if he sees that they're having a good time or anything like that, those are the ones he's targeting, because he's so unhappy with his life. And when they ran his profile, they were literally looking for a man who felt hopeless in his own life, and so he would start fires so that the people would know how he felt. And I'm thinking, like, how sick and twisted is that? And what I wanted to say was that what we don't pay enough attention to as women is the extent of men's pain. So what I mean by that is, so let me explain. We hear what men say, like they grew up without their father and their mothers, worked 3 jobs to keep a roof over their head and food on the table. We hear them. I feel like we're just too empathetic. We try to heal them and to fix them and hold space for them. And what I mean by when I say that we're not paying attention to the extent, is that their pain is deeper than us. Their pain is deeper than what we will ever be able to fix. So instead of seeing that as a red flag, we see it as an opportunity to help. And we shouldn't. If he is not working on his healing or even aware that there's healing to be done, we need to run. There's no amount of sex, money, cooking, tricks in the bedroom, none of that. Nothing is going to fix what he's got going on, period. So many years ago, I used to call myself a sexual healer because I started to recognize patterns. And as I was hearing the same feedback, if you will, of what my partners would say about me after a session, I started using this as data. Like, I collected it over the years from men who didn't know each other, but somehow were saying the same or similar things about me. Within the last 5 years, I stopped referring to myself as a sexual healer. And for the past year, I've actually abstained from sex altogether. Why? Because I was using it, I feel like, as a crutch to kind of like, I don't want to say mask, but to like hide my hypersexuality. So referring to it as like sexual liberation and freedom and having to get my needs met. But through therapy, I discovered that I was hypersexual due to the trauma I experienced by being touched by a family member as a kid and losing my virginity at 11 years old. So once I worked through that, I no longer had the desire to allow unhealed, broken, no purpose-driven, useless men to enter my body, because I finally did the work to heal what was broken and unhealed within me. Healing a man is not our job. It is theirs. And that's what I want women to understand, that you can't want it for them more than they want it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I just had to put my little 2 cents on it, on the idle hands is a devil playground, and then talk about the show Smoke, because the main thing that I really wanted to say about Smoke, the show, is in the show there's also a woman, that restaurant where Freddie works. Now y'all gotta see the show. I'm not trying to tell y'all everything about it. Go see the show. Go watch the show. It's on Apple TV. But Freddie, he's like this. He's a fry cook at a restaurant, like I said. He's this withdrawn, quiet, scruffy-looking man, not attractive, none of that. But there's this woman. There's this woman that comes into the restaurant, and she owns a hair salon, and she's constantly just talking to him, just like, "Hey, Freddie, blah blah blah, like, when you gonna let me do your hair?" You know, kind of like low-key flirting. This man is not thinking about her, but she is all on him, like flies be on shit. He is not studying her at all. He is minding his fucking business. And she just keeps being on him. Let me cut your hair. And he finally gives in because she puts in his head that he should be a manager one day. But as women, we feel like it is our job to pour into not only people, but to men, because we've been groomed to believe we're the nurturers, the caring ones, the empathetic ones. So he's like, oh, okay, maybe I should apply. I've been working at this job for 7 years or whatever. So he goes to her salon, and she's, it's like his hair hadn't been washed in years. And so she's, washing his hair while pouring into him, just, saying like, oh, you got nice hair. Just being this woman that a lot of us are, because we're trying to get our validation from a man and be seen by a man. And I was just watching this like, this is our fucking problem. And as the show went on, it went along the path that was also obvious to me, is that this is a man who is beyond socially awkward. He is a serial arsonist. Also means that he has some deep-rooted issues, which they address in the show. And she soon finds out because I feel like I'm going to give it away. But this spoke to me because we be so pressed to have a man, any type of man. This lady owned a hair salon, and she's throwing herself at this guy who's a fry cook. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with being a fry cook. What I'm saying is that this is a woman who doesn't know how to read a room. You need to read the room and see that this man has nothing going on for himself at all. You own a salon. Go find someone who is at your level or higher. Do you know what I'm saying? And she fucked around and found out. Basically is what I'm saying. And also just like we just need to stop inserting ourselves into these men's lives without fully knowing or paying attention to or caring about the deeper issues at hand. So go watch the show. Smoke. I like doing character analysis and character studies and looking at these shows from the lens of like mirrors. You know what I mean? So watch it. It's on Apple TV. And check out the Audacity podcast as well. And I will talk to y'all later.